Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to unlock a huge idea that's hiding inside one very small word.
All right, let's start with something we all think we know, right? A word that seems incredibly simple, one we probably use without a second thought: rod.
So if you look it up in, say, the Simple English Wiktionary, the definition seems totally straightforward. A rod is a long, thin, round thing usually made of metal. Yeah, a rod is a rod. You can see it, you can touch it. Simple. I mean, what could be more basic than that, right? It seems like an open and shut case. But, as we're about to find out, there's this really fascinating story tucked away in the details of this seemingly boring little entry.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you actually look closely at that Wiktionary entry, there's this tiny little note at the bottom. It's almost like a footnote. Super easy to miss, but trust me, it changes everything.
And it just says this: rod is on the basic English 850 list. And that single sentence, well, that's our first clue. It's like the start of a linguistic mystery, the first breadcrumb leading us down a rabbit hole.
So naturally, this brings up the big question, the one we're really going to dig into today. What is the basic English 850 list? And why on earth is a simple word like rod important enough to make the cut?
All right, let's dive in. To figure this out, we're going to have to look for clues inside the word's DNA, so to speak. Let's examine the evidence the dictionary entry itself gives us.
Okay, so the entry tells us a few key things. First, rod is a noun. Check. Second, it's countable. You can have one rod, two rods, a bunch of rods. And third, it describes a concrete physical object, something real. These are our facts.
So just from those clues, we can start to piece together what this mysterious list is all about. It seems to favor words for things that are tangible, right? Things you can count. It's all about functional, practical words. Not a lot of room for poetry or abstract ideas here.
And that leads us to a really crucial point. This list, it isn't just a random collection of easy words. No way. It's a system. A very deliberately designed system. Think of it like a foundational toolkit for the entire English language.
And maybe the most surprising thing about this whole toolkit is just how few pieces you actually need to build a working version of English.
And this is the number. This is the number at the very heart of the entire system. Just 850. That's it, 850 words.
And that is basic English. It's a complete, controlled version of the language built from only 850 words. It was actually designed by a linguist named Charles K. Ogden, and his whole idea was to create a super clear, simple language that anyone in the world could use.
But that leads to a pretty big question, right? I mean, English has over 1 million words. Why would anyone want to limit a language so drastically? What's the point?
Well, the answer is kind of hiding in plain sight, right there in the name of our source, the Simple English Wiktionary. The goal here is radical simplicity. It's all about stripping away complexity. Think about it. By using just this core set of 850 words, you could explain a business idea in a global meeting, or you could make sure safety instructions are understood by everyone on an international flight. It's about making communication work when it absolutely, positively has to.
So let's bring it all back to where we started, our little word, rod. We can see now that it wasn't chosen by accident. It's not just a word, it's exactly the right kind of word for this system.
It really is the perfect example of a basic English word. It's simple, it's concrete, it's useful, and there's no confusion about what it means. It's a perfect little linguistic building block for creating clear, direct meaning.
And that leaves us with a final thought. It's really easy to look at a list of only 850 words and focus on everything that's missing. But maybe the real question is about the incredible power of what's left. What could you build? What ideas could you express if all you had was this core toolkit?